Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Patreon podcast. This week, I wanted to talk about the idea of perseverance because I am still riding my bike a lot, and it's been on my mind because the weather's been so bad. This is really just the idea of doing something even though you don't want to because you have that goal, you have that drive for personal improvement. And, you know, for me, the riding the bike, I try to do it every weekday and on Saturday. And it's hard sometimes. I actually skipped yesterday because it was raining pretty bad. But today is Friday for me, and it is rainy, and I have a couple-hour window between rainstorms, and I'm going to try to get out there. And I don't want to. But I also know that, you know, it's a commitment to myself, and it's something that I am trying to be very proactive and I guess proactive is the right word. I've been trying to do it every day because that's the commitment that I made to myself. And I think that there is a lot to be said about that because that can go into the creative space as well, because I want to get better at riding my bike. I want to get the exercise, and I want to just improve and be more efficient at riding my bike because I want to do some more adventures with it in the future. And the same thing can be said for me anyway about the 2-hour track challenge, where I made a commitment to myself to do a song every week, partially because I have the commitment to my Patreon subscribers, you lovely people, but also because I want to improve. I want to get better, and I want to learn more and evolve as an artist through the work that I do. And the best way to do that is to make that kind of commitment. And it's very hard. Over the last 6.5, 7 years, while doing this challenge, I have had some weeks that have been genuinely terrible. And I have had to push the date to later in the week, but thankfully I've never really had to skip a week. And that is in large part due to the commitment that I made to myself and the ability to ensure that I'm staying focused on my goals. And that's super important for me because I really want to make sure that I continue to improve, and I have those goals in mind when I do it. I don't need to get into details as to why those weeks were bad, but you know, some of them, like, I just didn't have the energy or the motivation on Wednesday to do it. So I'm like, okay, I'll try again tomorrow. And some of those days I didn't have it on Thursday either, and I had to push it to Friday or even Saturday, but I tried to make it happen. And in those weeks where I was like on vacation and I couldn't physically do it, I made the song beforehand. In 2011, I did all of my 2-hour track challenges for November in October, the month prior. Because November was the album in a month challenge, and I wanted to focus solely on that instead of juggling things. And I think that really helped me better understand just kind of what's important to me. And, you know, doing 2-hour track challenges a week is very difficult, but I also think that it gave me that flexibility to work on my November album, which I still need to finish, but you know, that's not this topic. I think that it's just like, just learning how to persevere. And I think a lot of that just comes down to learning what's important for you. I mean, it's not always music, or it's not always bike riding. It's not always anything. I mean, hell, it could be as simple as, you know, making sure that you have a good breakfast or that you brush your teeth at night. Because sometimes I fail to do those, and maybe they're not as high on my priority list as making a song every week. I don't know. But just being aware of that and being attuned to the idea that, you know, you have to find those things that are valuable for you, and then you have to make them valuable. And then when things get tough, you have that contract with yourself. You have that commitment with yourself that you'll make it work, even if it's tough. And now I should say one of the 4 agreements, and the 4 agreements is something that I think of a lot. But one of the four agreements is to do your best. And there definitely have been times where I could have skipped a week and I would have been okay with myself for doing that. So it's also understanding your limits, your thresholds, for, what you want to be doing, because it's very easy to also fall into that trap where it's just like, oh, I have to do this and I have to like destroy my mental health to make this happen. And that's never the case. You always have options, and those options are valuable to keep in mind as well. And I wanted to, show the other side of this coin, because I think that it's important to maintain mental health and, physical health too. Like yesterday, I didn't go on my bike ride, not only because it was raining, but I was just physically exhausted, and I didn't know if it was the weather or allergies or what. And it's like, even though I probably could have gone out and suffered through the rain and all that other stuff, I just today can be a day where I just kind of sit it out, and, there's no shame in that. It's just understanding that commitment and understanding that you might be breaking your streak, but you're not breaking your habit. And it's ensuring that habit is maintained, because like once you break that habit once, it's easy to skip it the next day. And part of me today was like, oh man, it's still raining and I'm still kind of tired. But it's also like, you know what? I just got to get out there. And that's what I'm literally going to do right after I stop recording this. So, excuse me. I think that's everything that I had for this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for being a Patreon subscriber. I genuinely, honestly do appreciate it. I hope that you have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Be remarkable.